Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying the invigorating sessions, and it's time for the next one. The theme of this session is solar inverters contribution towards Indian solar renewable domain. And I'm Ruchi Bhatia. And over the next 45 odd minutes, we will be discussing this issue in greater detail. Remember, India is on its way to improve its industrial and economic health through structural reforms by phasing out the fossil based energy generation, adopting a more greener way of living, a more sustainable way of living, and of course, adopting the green energy by laying that path towards sustainable development as well. Over the next 45 odd minutes, our team of experts today will be joining you to talk a little more about that. But before we go any forward, let's toss it across to Mr. Harshad Soni, Head General Manager, Corporate Marketing at Hitachi Power Electronics, for his keynote address. Mr. Soni, over to you.
Thank you. Hello, all. Good morning. Warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics, which is a pioneer in power electronics industry in India, having presence more than 3.5 decades into India. I'm really thankful to Hitachi Group as well as Hitachi India Private Limited for arranging this important session named Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 here in and giving the opportunity to Hyrule Power Electronics to show how our organization is helping the Indian industry in solar power generation. I'm also thankful to all the panelists who have agreed upon to join this invitation for this solar panel discussion and to share their viewpoints on Indian solar industry growth, challenges, opportunities, as well as the important role of solar inverters into this Indian solar domain. I'm sure this forum will definitely convey the message to our target Indian audience how Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics is helping Indian society in terms of solar power generation in a cleaner and greener way. As you all are aware, Hitachi is a Fortune 500 group of company as well as Japanese multinational conglomerate company based in Tokyo, Japan, having presence in varieties of business segments, having more than 1,000 group of companies across the globe, having presence in business segments like industrial products, infrastructure, artificial intelligence, information technology, and so on. Hitachi Hyrule Power belongs to industrial business unit of Hitachi, and we are having the vision of to be recognized as the pioneer in Indian power electronics industry, to be recognized as the pioneer through supplying products and solutions superior quality. We are offering varieties of power electronic products like industrial UPS, IT UPS, variable frequency drives with medium voltage and low voltage, solar inverters, which are central inverters, as well as solar string inverters, air compressors, and hardware inverters. We have garnered a significant level of trust in Indian market segment. We will definitely continue to supply value-added services to supply quality products as well as the customized solutions to the Indian target audience. As we all know that India is facing lots of challenges, varieties of challenges, which include shortages of resources as well as climate change. To mitigate these challenges, to overcome these challenges, United Nations have already introduced Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. The whole world as well as varieties of countries, many numbers of organizations have started their journey towards achieving these Sustainable Development Goals. Hitachi is no more exclusion. Hitachi has also evolved, introduced its social business concept, which is for not only for these generations but the future generations to come. As we all know that India is the third largest producer and fourth largest consumer in terms of electricity, having installed electricity capacity 373 gigawatt. Almost all the Indian citizens are under the national ambit, national grid. But the rapid industrialization as well as urbanization is exceptionally applying pressure on this power generation capacity, fossil fuel power generation. And hence, government has recognized this, that it has alarmed a pollution level, it has reduced the non-renewable energy resources, as well as it has changed the climate. Government has recognized that the answer lies beyond this in terms of renewable energy resources. This is the need of an hour, and hence government has recognized to find out more and more innovation in terms of renewable energy, resource-based power generation. We all know that under renewable energy resources, solar power, wind power, hydropower, biopower comes. So here in this session, in this whole session, we'll talk about solar power-based generation. India is a sunshine country, as we all know. There are 300 sunny days, almost 10 months we can say sun is giving its goodness. But literally, sun is the only source of light for many millions of citizens of India. Government of India has recognized this, and hence they have framed the national solar mission to achieve 100 gigawatt of solar power generation by 2020. Many numbers of organizations, including government sector, has started their journey towards achieving this 100 gigawatt power generation through deploying solar farms as well as solar PV systems in India. If we talk about solar farms, there are multiple varieties of solar equipments are being used. Those are many numbers of solar equipments, and amongst these, solar inverter is a potent example. Solar inverter is any solar farm or solar PV system. It is a critical technological link which has enabled the conversion of DC power generated through the solar power system into AC power. It is helping to distribute the solar power generated into national grid. Solar is a critical balance of system component in the whole solar farm, the solar PV system. As I mentioned earlier, Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics offer varieties of power electronics products. Amongst that, solar inverter is one of them. Our solar inverter is having the three-level IGBT technology as well as wider MPPT range. So Hitachi solar inverter delivers maximum power generation. Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics started its solar business in India in 2012. We have our manufacturing setup at Sanand nearby Ahmedabad in Gujarat. We manufacture solar inverters there at Sanand Works based on the contemporary technology of Hitachi Limited Japan. We are offering two varieties of solar inverters. One is solar central inverter, solar string inverters. If we talk about solar central inverters, that is available in range of 250 kilowatt to 2500 kilowatt. One more model is available, that is 2.5 megawatt solar central outdoor inverter for 1500 VDC range. If we talk about Hitachi solar string inverters, that is available in 1.1 kilowatt to 6 kilowatt for single phase, 4.4 kilowatt to 70 kilowatt for three phase. I'm proud to state here that Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics is helping the Indian community, Indian society, Indian government in generating more than 2.5 gigawatt worth of solar power generation through its supplied and installed solar inverters across the country in many numbers of states. So this way, Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics is helping the Indian society in reducing the dependency on fossil fuel-based power generation, in reducing the dependency of fossil fuel power generation, in ensuring the energy security, to reduce the pollution level as well as reduce the carbon footprint. So in short, Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics is all about powering good. We are transforming the millions of Indian citizens. Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics is at the forefront of social innovation business in India, and we are making sure that we contribute to society in generating more and more solar power generation in a cleaner and greener. I have I will share some analytics about Indian solar domain. India's total installed electricity capacity is 373 gigawatt. Out of this total installed capacity, thermal is 231 gigawatt, hydro is 46 gigawatt, nuclear is 6.8, and renewable is 91 gigawatt. If we talk about renewable energy based power generation, the target was 225 gigawatt by 2022, but we have already achieved only 90 or 91 gigawatt at present, latest by November 2020. And hence the government of India is planning to establish a new target of 500 gigawatt by 2030. If we talk about solar energy, the target was 100 gigawatt, but the installed capacity is only 37 gigawatt. So as we all know that we are far behind to achieve this target. Out of 37 gigawatt, out of 37 gigawatt, 31 to 33 gigawatt installation is for utility scale based power generation, and only 6 gigawatt is for solar scale installation. But we, Hitachi Hyrule Power Electronics, are trying our best to supply to contribute in Indian solar domain by supplying and installing our solar inverters. I herewith end my session by sharing our company's solar slogan: "Let us solarize for a better and brighter world." Thank you very much. Thank you all for your patience and listening. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, Mr. Soni. Appreciate you taking your time out and speaking with us today. In fact, Hitachi Hyrel is, of course, helping India's green transition movement and accelerating solar power availability as well to fill the upcoming power needs of the country. And let's talk about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us as far as the solar industry is concerned. We have an eminent list of speakers joining us today on this platform. Mr. Sachin Borisa, the General Manager, Sales and Service at Solar Business Division at Hitachi Hyrel, joining in, along with Mr. Rajendra Srivastav, the President and Market Business Leader at AES, Mr. Sanjay Sharma, the General Manager, Contracts and Procurement at the Solar Energy Corporation of India, as well as Dr. Debajit Palit, the director at TERI as well. Gentlemen, appreciate you all taking your time out and speaking with us today. Let me first take it across with Mr. Borisa. Mr. Borisa, thank you, of course, for taking your time out and speaking with us today. First, let's talk about the opportunities that lie ahead as far as the solar space is concerned. India, of course, has set itself a very steep target, but where are we in terms of the challenges, the opportunities that lie ahead of us?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity. See, as such as India is concerned towards the renewable energy, we are moving very fast, and I would like to share with you that India's growth part and the topology that is trying to meet the target of around 250 gigawatt by 2030 almost, and by 2020 we are targeting 170 gigawatt, where the being an inverter manufacturer, we are going to contribute a lot, because now there are good chances for the Make in India concept, and we government is also approaching towards the Make in India concept. Altogether, if we talk about in 2010 back to one decade, the solar energy or wind energy was not that much compatible to thermal, as well as other energy sources, fossil fuel, you can say. By and large, like within decade, the cost have been drastically, it has been got down from 120 million INR per megawatt to almost 30 million INR per megawatt. That is nothing but the innovation and kind of conceptualization of technology altogether. And here, being a a power electronics manufacturer, and looking towards the other expansion of the government policies, and contribution of other rest of the equipments towards the economical solution of in terms of overall solar energy sector, that is like nothing like it. Like in that particular fashion, government is also supporting a lot, contributing towards helping us out by the incentive point of view, by the land acquisition, and the many other efforts which could have many hurdles before 10 years or before 12 years. Now everything has been
Right.
stabilized. Very stringent and very clear policies available in the market, where people can enjoy the available policies with by their own contributions, by their own innovations factors. There are lots of yeah, conflicts during policy making, but now everything has been stable,
Mm.
and people have a clear idea about the policy towards renewable sector. Particular for solar, we are on the track as such. I could see, and there are certain other technologies and enhancement is available, which will definitely help us out towards the growth. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Puri. So let me also take it across to Mr. Srivastav as well. Mr. Srivastav, from your experience, what do you think are the kind of opportunities as well as the challenges that lie ahead of us? And mostly talk to us about the challenges because on one hand, we're talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. On the other hand, we are excessively dependent on a lot of, technology and a lot of raw material really coming in from China as well. So how do we really balance the two?
The solar space, the biggest component after is solar panel. That's almost 62% of the project cost. Then comes inverter, and then the balance of plant and AC side, etc. We work worldwide, and we have 2 to 3 gigawatt per year we add in Latin America, in Chile, in Brazil. We also add in Mexico and US market as well. So our experience is that in the beginning, it looks like we should be in this country, try to manufacture things locally. But imagine that if we have a large capacity of local production, whether it is inverter or panels, we will still soon be competing against the global prices. It will become a commodity. And hence, yes, it is interesting in the beginning to say that we must do locally. But there is something else about Atmanirbhar. What is more important is the attract foreign companies like us, for example, to set up shop in this country, like Hitachi is doing. We are also looking
Hmm.
at innovative technology to be manufactured in this country. And we don't really look at incentives, we look at ease of doing business. That is far more
Right.
important for me. Rapidly installing the system, permits, approvals, land, access road, and the manpower. While we can bring the capital, but we really look at those locations and states where it helps us. At the end of the day, of course, it all helps the solar business in the country. We believe in the capacity that this country can absorb solar. We believe in the government's tremendous leadership that is promoting solar in this country and in a sustainable way. And that's the reason, the
Right.
long term vision is the reason why we would be willing to invest in this country. That's all I can say at the moment.
I will also, I do know that you have a very strong view on incentives as well, and I will come to you on that as well in just a short while from now. But let me also take it across to Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, innovation is going to be key if we're talking about really pushing solar, industry here in India, and that is said to be the key driver. Industry, of course, cannot avoid it at this point of time. Talk to us about how we can make sure that innovation really takes the front seat as we're looking on expanding the solar industry here in the country.
Uh, Thank you, Ruchi. My key aspect is government and the agency should invest heavily on the R&D projects. What India is lacking about, there is no investment or very little investment what is required in R&D sector of any of the industries. So solar is not solar is not a exception to it. In solar also we are not innovating anything. We are just purchasing 90% of the modules and this thing from China, which is killing our jobs, which is killing our forex, which is killing our innovative approach also. So in that case, we should strive hard to invest on R&D, and we should focus on this.
Oh, absolutely. In
Over to
fact, while we're right, carry on, sir.
hello. Yes. So this is what I wanted to say, that we should invest heavily on the R&D, which is not right
Right, so
now taking
invest.
place in India.
Oh, absolutely. Investing in R&D is going to be critical as we're talking about expanding the scope of solar industry here in the country. And while we're discussing that, all the viewers who are watching our discussion here on ET Now and on all the other platforms of the Times Network, you should also do participate in our poll as well. The first question for the poll this time around is if you think that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the renewable energy market in India, yes or no, you can uh, be a part of our poll as well. But Dr. Debajit, if I can come to you, and as we're talking about, where India stands, what do you think is the need of the hour? What needs to be done, and where is it that we're really lacking?
Yeah, right now, yes, pandemic has affected a lot in the installation of the projects in solar. But as far as SECI, from where I am representing, SECI is concerned, UN Secretary General Mr. Guterres has also appreciated SECI's efforts that the only positive news SECI or say Government of India is giving, that is the solar auctions. So in pandemic also we have not stopped. We have already awarded 3200 megawatts of solar projects in that case, but because of the other site related challenges in pandemic or labor problem, transport problems, then these the projects are have been affected a lot, I should say.
Right. What do you think, sir, are the opportunities that lie in this space, and what is it that we need to do? Mr.
Are you
Srivastava has
asking?
very
Yeah.
strong views on incentives. No, I'm asking Dr. Debajit before I take it across with Mr. Borisa. Mr. Srivastava has very strong views on incentives. What do you think is the need of the hour and needs to be done in this space, sir?
So thank you, Ruchi, for having. So let me put something in perspective. So we have a 450 gigawatt of renewable energy target by 2030, and 175 gigawatt by 2022. We committed, India as a country committed 40% of installed capacity through non-fossil fuel by 2030 in the Paris climate goal. And we have already achieved almost 38% of that target. And I strongly believe that India will overachieve the Paris climate goal handsomely. This one. Having said that, if I put the solar in the perspective, so the different public procurement has discovered that solar electricity currently at 1 rupee 99 paisa per kilowatt hour and wind electricity at 2 rupees 44 paisa per kilowatt hour are the cheapest electricity in India, but only when the sun is shining and the wind is blowing. Now, having said that, a small amount of somewhat farm renewable electricity, solar plus storage, may be available in 2022 at a price competitive with coal electricity. So, if we see the solar or wind in the perspective, then vis-a-vis the thermal power, solar and wind are becoming cheaper and cheaper, and has already become cost effective as on date. When the sun is shining and the wind is blowing, and we hope that this is going to become effective very soon in the for 24 hours round the clock supply also. Now, you'd be pleased to know that solar costs have fallen by a factor of 5 and are now decisively cheaper than coal. And it's also one of the lowest cost globally at less than $500 per kilowatt peak. This one. However, round bids have delivered low bid prices, but mostly on oversizing and resource complementarity than storage. So what I feel is that storage is going to be the next game changer, because solar prices has come down drastically, but storage is the next game changer, which is going to bring down the price of electricity from renewable energy as and when the storage technology develops, and uh, more research R&D is done on the storage part of it. So I'll stop here.
Right. In fact, while we're talking about that, Mr. Borisa, if I can come to you, talk to us about how important, while we're talking about pushing the Indian domestic solar industry, how important will be to get local production, the localization of solar panels right as well, because this is going to be a critical component for the industry to really scale up.
See, as my colleague said, like, we are on the right direction towards the domestic productions, and we are also participating in the same era. Here we have the resources available, like the huge, I would say, the second most resourceful country in the world, like after China. We do have the manpower, we have the technologies, people available, we have the equipments available in within India. Now only the factor is the bottom item, I would say, that is nothing but the power electronics component. Those are still leaking here in India to be manufactured, and government is also looking towards manufacturing those kind of power electronics components here in India itself under the domestic production. I would say after onwards, like if we are talking about the inverter manufacturer or the PV module manufacturer, we are lagging behind the resource, the basic resource which we are talking about. That is not manufacturing here. We are importing still, and
Exactly.
that is, I can say, where innovation should be there. The innovation criteria, R&D expansion, R&D investment should be there in line with the track of our requirement. Of course, renewable energy will be the second most popular energy source worldwide. But there is again a of back continuous energy resources. Like it is not the continuous
Right.
primary source, I would say, like thermal power plant.
Right.
Okay, so storage energy become the second most compatible, or I can say it's a backup of the renewable energy which can sustain for the longer time and provide the demand of the energy. So, being a manufacturer,
Right.
local domestic manufacturer, there are policies available. It has to be in well in track with the certain incentives, with the approachment of raw material development here in India. So altogether, domestic have a good chance and scope to move towards the renewable participants.
Ruchi, can I make a quick
With
point on the local manufacturing?
Yeah, sure. Continue, sir.
Yeah. So I think we have been discussing about local manufacturing, but before any manufacturing, I think demand generation is the key. And all these years in the last decade or so, we have been trying to generate the demand for solar, and I think it is in the right time now for private sector to come into the picture and start local manufacturing, because we have generated adequate demand in the country, and the government is also uh, has been and has made enabling policies for the sector. So I think now it is the right time for local manufacturing. Maybe 5 years back was not the best time for local manufacturing because the demand was not there.
Right. Mr. Sharma, if I can come to you, a point is being made that now a lot is being done, but still, I just want to understand in terms of incentives, they're not really a long term solution as well. So, what do you really want the domestic industry to look at while we're, of course, talking about really scaling up the solar sector?
Yeah, I do agree that incentives at these tariffs, which they were saying for solar, it has reached to 1.99, as well as for wind, it is 2.43. But incentives are not at all required. Only the requirement is the government's intention and policy framework, which are conducive to give any impetus or say push to the manufacturing units. People should invest. Our businessmen should invest in manufacturing. That is the need of the hour. Only the policy framework which is conducive, which is required, not
Hmm.
any incentive. I do
Right.
agree that.
Mr. Shiv, right. Mr. Srivastav, let me come to you also. And before that, let's also take our, the second poll question as well for all the viewers who are watching this discussion right now. The second question, of course, for the poll this time around is with the hike on custom duties on solar inverters and lanterns, can India really become a global leader in supply of solar lanterns? Yes or no? Keep, participating in our poll here on with respect to this discussion. But Mr. Srivastav, you yourself have very strong views on incentives as well. Clearly, they are no long-term solution. So, in that kind of a scenario, what do you think the solar industry should do to succeed without incentives at this point of time?
I must first of all add couple of points that people spoke about R&D. R&D and incentive are oxymoron. R&D requires certain amount of commitment of resources by a company to innovate the product, and therefore it requires investments. It requires that courage to go beyond the normal. And the lot of people spoke about energy storage. I would like to say that we built the first industry scale storage in Rohini, connected to TPDDL Discom, 10 megawatt hour. And for last 2 years, we have been petitioning to the regulator to provide rate-based services. Whatever money we have invested was done for purposes, but the services are real. Frequency, voltage stabilization, peak shifting, quick response. The point I'm trying to say is we did the R&D, we brought a commercial product, and I have heard Seki and Terry making some complimentary statements of energy storage. The regulator should also walk along with us. It is not good enough to make statements that this can become successful, the price will go down. We have put a lot of money here. Regime is generally suited for the runway. It is not to have a sustained flight. It is not a sustainable route. And again, for example, Hitachi, which is doing inverter, or their other inverter manufacturers or the panel manufacturers. India is the most expensive panel manufacturing country today. And my point is the market globally is not going to look at India as a source unless it can compete globally. Now, industry of this scale, where you need 10 to 20 or 30 gigawatt of production, has to come up on its own. And the government can at most, as one of the speakers said, can keep putting policies, rules, and making ease of business as a primary directive, primary cardinal driver here. More than that, government should stay away. It is not the business of the government to guide the commercial consideration of manufacturing. That's my comment.
Right. While you're saying that the government should stay away from this space and let the commercial, entities really and the market forces really decide how things really move forward. Mr. Srivastava, you did call upon the regulators to for a deeper look into this sector and some of the problems that the industry is right now facing with. What would you say are some of the issues that the regulators must look at?
First of all, I have been going to the regulators for 5 years. Myself, I am attending the regulatory discussions. We are making presentations. One of the problem we are experiencing is, and especially when people talk about dispatchable solar, which means connected to energy storage, or peak supply or RTC round the clock with energy storage, we have made several presentations. We have brought global examples. We have done the biggest in the world in California, 400 megawatt hour connected last week. And we almost own 1 gigawatt of our own. We brought all the knowledge and all the experience. Our experience is that regulators in India are almost very reluctant. They are very cagey, very circumspect in taking any decision. Unlike, let's say, FERC in US, where the regulator is driving the unfolding of energy storage in US. That's why it's picking up hugely. It's picking up in UK, it's picking up in Netherlands, in Europe, in all of the countries. I'm sorry to say our regulators are almost conservative to the bordering to the level of being timid. And they have to provide that road, the runway for this to unfold. That's my comment.
Mr. Borisa, if you can come in on that as an industry player, do you believe that the regulators need to look at this space in a much more defined manner?
Certainly, like it's totally depend on the industry to industry and how the people are interacting with the regulatory wherever and whenever they require. So if we talk about the manufacturing industry, there are certain rules and regulations, and even though that kind of zone are available to set up the manufacturing plant, and under certain R&D concerns, like there are policies available. But as Mr. Srivastava said very clearly, that there are certain reluctant steps, and there are certain policies where we are unable to take the immediate decision which other countries are taking further. Why even being the second largest populated country, why we are still lagging behind? Of course, there are a tremendous growth after 2017 in the solar industry, or in overall terms of renewable energy sector. But still, I would say we should be at first place instead of China or US, where people are flexible, policies are welcoming, and they are very adaptable immediately in terms of footprint, or you can say groundwork, working on that. So here, the industry will also get certain support and certain boost up to go into the depth of the R&D, go into depth of the manufacturing of the power components,
Mm.
and as and when the innovations required, government also can support and approach at the certain platform where other people can look into it, they can come up with their own ideas. So here there are certain limitations, but considering the huge population, huge installation based, government having certain limitations in their hands, and there they have to check 360-degree way, not in the personal perspectives or any individual perspectives. They are linked with the overall policies. They are not linked with only individual manufacturing sector or
Right.
only the public sector. So here, what the constraints are available with the government, that we need to look into it, and that government has to fix once for all and then move ahead. So once the policy get clear for solar or
Mm.
any renewable, it can be groundwork well enough, so that can be, people can move ahead and think beyond. So that is what I would
Okay.
say. It is a mix of opinion, but we need to think in
Right.
respect of the India is concerned.
Dr. Debajit, let me come to you. You also spoke about, the fact that we need to look at the grid stability and those kind of issues as well. And you have the other panelists here on board talking about the role that the regulator should play. I want to understand from you, in light of the kind of challenges that we're facing from other countries, especially China, what do you think needs to be done as far as the solar space is concerned? And if you can help us with your thoughts, issue.
Thank you. I think regulator has been doing some activities. Of course, they need to be more proactive. But in India, as you know, the regulator always follows what the government policy is prescribing. So instead of the other way around, with taking a proactive step, to normally they follow what the government is doing. And over a period of time, since the launch of the solar mission, I think in 2010 to 2013, the regulator has helped in bundling with solar with thermal power, so that solar can be used, because at that time solar price was very high. So unless it was bundled with
Mm.
low cost thermal, nobody would have taken that. And regulator has facilitated that model. The viability gap
Mm.
funding came into the regulator, facilitated that model.
Mm.
Reverse bidding, which was one of the innovation that India did, this one, which brought down the prices of solar considerably, creating provisions for RPO with a separate window for solar power, which the regulator facilitated that this model. And in fact, renewable energy has been accorded a status of must merit dispatch order to provide protection to renewable energy under load shedding conditions. So a lot of things
Mm.
regulator has, of course, more needs to be done, and more innovation has to come forward from the regulatory aspects also,
Right.
to see that we are not only achieving our target, but also actually moving forward and leading the way, to show to the world that what India can do.
Right. Absolutely. In fact, before we take it any forward, here's our last, poll question for our viewers. Is there a need for more awareness programs on the use of solar energy in the household sector? Yes or no? Please keep giving in your responses to our poll questions. But Mr. Sharma, while we're talking about the role of the regulator, if you look at India, the solar industry primarily has been stuck in a groove where technology does not really occupy the front seat. It is mostly financing, cost cutting that is driving the current race for capacity addition as well. At a time like this, what role do you think the government, the regulators must play?
Okay, thank you. In my view, right now, what from deriving from the international commitments, the government of India has set a target of 450 gigawatt till 2030, and out of that, 280 gigawatt has to come from solar. So deriving from the right now, we are having only 10 years. So to take 1.5 years for installation, so we have to do this much work till 28. So if we come out with a per annum installation which solar energy or solar project should come, so it is coming around 20 gigawatt plus. So our manufacturing industry is not like that. And right now, what SECI is facing the problem, we have already awarded 47,000 of megawatt of renewable energy. Right now, the PPAs have been signed by the state governments is 25,000 megawatt plus. So balance 22,000, we are struggling hard to sign PPAs from the state discoms. So regulator has to play a great role in clearing the tariff arrived by the solar energy corporation or by the state utilities, which has come through the competitive guidelines and transparent bidding process. So regulator is right now they are on the top of this, otherwise our targets will not be achieved at all. So we are struggling
Mm,
hard to sign PPAs for 22 gigawatt.
right,
How we will achieve the target of 2 lakhs till in 8 years? We are not able to sign
right,
because we have concluded the bids, right? So the challenge is
right.
what SECI is facing, the delay in signing of PPAs by the state discoms, variation in the discovered tariffs. What is happening once we finalize one bid, and in if that is not concluded or that is not sold out to the discoms, if we carry out another bid and if the tariff is going down, so nobody is able to take a decision on the first bid. They will jump, all will jump on the second bid. So our bidding trajectory has gone. So, and another challenge is we are facing evacuation and availability of the states, availability of the
Mm.
land from the states. So these two, three challenges we are facing, and regulator has a great role to resolve it. Over to you.
Right. Mr. Burisa, right. Mr. Burisa, your closing comments as we wrap this show. We're far, of course, from the targets that we've set out as far as the solar panels, the solar sector is concerned. What do you think needs to be done? What do you think is the need of the hour?
Uh, See, in line with the policies and regulatories and manufacturing domestic production we are talking about, uh, there are is been linked up first of all that we need to think about it. If there are certain PPAs available, why not they are executing on time? That is first aspect. Second is gradually the rate of product is getting down day by day. So that is again a very big concern about the technology and the quality of product, irrespective it could be a domestic or imported item. Third most important aspect is when we are talking about the execution part, it is not getting realization in the actual form of the production or the generations. So there are certain lake I would say there are certain gaps available from the beginning of regulatory to the execution of the project and the handover. So it should be that should be fulfilled to complete the overall project to meet the overall target, because when we are talking about 280 gigawatt by 2030, it has to be on platform. Now we are enough having the knowledge of 1 decade almost. So the regulatory point of view, rules regulation point of view, there won't be any change enough in that until unless it is related to the grid stability. If there are certain rules and regulations need to be added according to the grid stability or the reliable power in overall terms, then we
Right.
need to think about it. Rather than that, the execution part of it, domestic manufacturing point of it, everything has been settled. Now it is only the case of realization of production in terms of domestic production. Make in India concept, if we are talking about, then there are certain things available which need to be integrated. Those are important items, I would say. The third part is when we are talking about the purely make in India concept, and we are going towards the 80% of assembling in India and 80% of making India concept. There are huge difference. I'm saying, because when we are talking about assembling, people can bought out the item from outside of India and assemble here. That is 100% assembling here. But when we are talking about more than 80%, then certain parts those are not available in India right now has to be set up, has to be approached by the government, and overall regulatory should be control. There is no need of changing of the regulatory norms and rules regulations. It is time to execute the
Right.
project on time. So that is what I would say in the closing of this. Thank you.
Right, pretty near yet so far as the penetration of the solar industry is concerned. But on that note, we're completely out of time. Mr. Burisa, Mr. Srivastava, Mr. Sharma, as well as Dr. Devajit, appreciate you all taking your time out and speaking with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.